Megan Olivi, Brett Okamoto here chatting UFC 274 because this pay-per-view that's taking place in Phoenix, Arizona is absolutely stacked. I don't even know which fight you want to start with. So off the top of your head, what stands out on this main card portion?
I mean, it's the obvious answer, right? But I'm going to go with Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira because at the beginning of the year, Megan, every year I write down the fights that I'm most looking forward to. Or you know what? Not even the ones I'm looking forward to, the ones that I hope get put together. And this one I figured was going to get put together, but I still put it on my wish list because that is just how excited I am. Now, I will say that I had wanted to see it in Brazil. I wanted to see Justin Gaethje go down into that fire because he said he wanted to. He said he wanted that chaos in his life. Didn't get to happen this year going to Brazil, but I still think obviously it's going to be fantastic main event. I think Justin Gaethje, it feels like it's his time while it also feels like it's Charles Oliveira's time. You know, like Charles Oliveira waited so long. He had such a long road. People counted him out. People called him a quitter. Now he's the defending champion. And Justin Gaethje at the same time, you know, he was a guy who just wanted to be entertaining for so long in his career. Then he said, I want to get serious. He got serious. He lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Everybody loses to Khabib. This guy might be the best lightweight in the world. He might be better than Charles Oliveira. Right. He just hasn't had a chance to prove it yet, and we're going to find out at 274.
And he was one of those guys that originally was not a fan of Oliveira. He said some of those things you just mentioned. And then after that fight against Dustin Poirier in December, he came backstage and he was talking to me and he saw Charles and he was like, I don't feel like that anymore. He's proved himself as a champion. In terms of the expectations for this, because they're both finishers.
Yeah.
This is scheduled for 25, as all title fights are. But, I mean, can you actually see it going
25?
No
way. No way. I mean, we're at the Apex here. We just watched Rob Font and Chito Vera. Both of those guys are finishers, but we kind of thought maybe this fight would go a long way because they're also both so durable. Right. The same can be said about these two. I mean, they're durable. They're champions. They got dogs in them. We've seen that now. You know, Justin has admitted that Charles does have that when he didn't think he used to not think that he had it. But the finishing ability of these guys – and just the action. I mean, they get reckless. They throw caution to the wind a lot, both of them. You know, and Justin says he's gotten a lot better than that at that, which he has. But this guy's still a madman when he's in the octagon. They both are. So absolutely, I think we're going to see a finish. Obviously, Charles has that otherworldly submission. I think he's the greatest submission artist in the history of the UFC.
Love that.
Justin, man, he finishes guys with one shot, and once he hurts you, he finishes you, and Charles has been getting hurt in his fight. So this is going to be so entertaining. I cannot wait for
I can't wait either. I am pumped. Okay, let's talk about the other title that's on the line, though, in the women's strawweight division. It's a rematch from years ago in the Ultimate Fighter season 20 finale. Rose Namajunas is now the champion.
Yep.
She's facing Carla Esparza, who became the first champion in that division when they fought in the tough finale. In terms of how they've both evolved as athletes since that first meeting, I mean, what have you seen?
Well, with Rose, I mean, there's so much to say. You know, I can't remember exactly when I had this conversation with Trevor Whitman, obviously Rose's coach. He said that he got caught just being a fan of Rose. And I remember the story that I did was I asked all the trainers what their biggest mistake of their career was. And Trevor said that his biggest mistake was that he was just too much of a fan of Rose during that fight. Oh. That they went in and they thought it was going to be an easier fight. They thought that, you know, Carla's going to bring her wrestling, but Rose has her kicks. You know, she can keep that distance. We are going to walk through this fight. I really they had respect for Carla, of course. Sure. But he just went in thinking, man, this Rose Namajunas is just such a gem, such a talent that she is going to win. And then he's like, you know, Carla has a game plan for this. Like, we overlooked some things. We got caught up in our own success a little bit. And I think you've seen the work that they've done that. Obviously, you've seen the work that they've done. You've seen the growth of Rose. You know, she still does have those moments where, you know, she's like this when she's getting ready to fight, but then she just grows into the fight. So mentally, physically, technically, skill-wise, everything has changed for Rose. I think for Carla, not as much has changed. She's just fine-tuned it. She knows what her strengths are. She plays to her strengths. She's going to try to play to them again, and then we'll see will it be enough again, because she has beaten this woman already, and that can also be something that's in your head like, hey, this person has already beat me before.
And what a journey back to the title that would be for Carla Esparza. You know what I mean?
Unreal. Yeah. I believe that it would be the longest time, if she were to win, it would be the longest time between two championship wins.
Interesting.
By a country mile. It like doubles the next one.
Wow.
So this, when you think about just how long it's been for Carla, and just no one's going to give Carla Esparza anything that she did not deserve. Let's be honest, right? She does not talk that much on the mic. Her style is more of a hold you down,
right?
You know, so she was never going to be fast tracked back to this opportunity. So the fact that she's there, it's well earned. Now let's see what she does with it.
Absolutely well earned. Okay, that's in the strawweight division, but we've got a fight that is not for the title, but man, is everyone excited for it. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler. This one, I feel like there's so much on the line without there being an actual thing on the line.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. The stakes are very, very high for both. On Tony, it's very obvious, right? Yeah. I mean, this guy went from he could be the guy to beat Khabib to all of a sudden he's lost his last 3 fights very, very convincingly. And for Michael, you know, Chandler has come in. He injected a lot of energy into this 155-pound division. He's been so much fun. See you at the top. Everything else, you know, beat me if you can. Right. He's been so much fun. But now it's like, hey, you lose this fight. You've lost 3 in a row, you know, and some of those fights that you want, some of those big fights, he wants Conor McGregor. Yes. Obviously, he wants another shot at the title at some point, but he's fresh off that, and we know the lightweight division is full of contenders. So if he loses again here, the options start to kind of wither a little bit. So it's such a big fight for both of them, and they're just polar opposites in terms of every time I turn on my social media, I see Michael Chandler. He's doing interviews, he's talking, he's on there like throwing stuff around. You know, he's always kind of promoting himself, and Tony, he's kind of does his little cryptic, you know, CSO things. Where is this guy? What's his mindset? How is he trained for this fight? You know, how is he going to be dealing with the fact that he is coming off 3 bad losses in a row? That's a tough thing. You and I are around fighters all the time. When you're on a losing streak, sometimes it feels like there's nothing you can do to turn it around. So I want to see how he's doing, what his mindset is going into this fight.
I want to see the press conference between them, if there is one, because I just think it will be so interesting to see how their personalities play off one another. But finally, I know you want to talk about the main card opener, Cowboy Cerrone and Joe Lauzon.
Yeah, I mean, another one that I'm really looking forward to see. The same that applies to what I just said about Tony Ferguson, the Cowboy. You know, I mean, he hears the retirement talk.
Yeah.
He's even acknowledged it. There was a time when it was just like, he wouldn't acknowledge it. He's like, I'm going to fight until they literally have to wheel me out of here, you know? But now, after what's gone on, you know, he has told me right here where you're standing, you know, after his last loss, he's like, I know what you're going to ask me. You know, what am I thinking? When's it time? I don't know. I don't know what time it is. I still feel like I can do this, but when I'm out there, my performances aren't doing that. But he's made some sacrifices. He did not train at the ranch. He's trained here in Vegas full time. So
took up 47 parking spots at the UFC offices.
Of course. I mean, you can't say that he's kind of still home because he's living in his RV. But yeah, he's taking it very seriously, and I think he knows. Of course he knows. He knows his back is against the wall. He knows he needs to win, and Joe Lauzon is a fun fight for anybody. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. 2
inevitable Hall of Famers for the UFC open up the pay-per-view. But May 7th, it all goes down in Phoenix, Arizona. We will be there. Make sure you do not miss it. Buy your pay-per-view on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.